Let's break down Project 2025. I'm going to make a big disclaimer at the front of this that this is not something that Donald Trump has officially endorsed. This is not his official plan. However, that comes with a major asterisk. So I'm going to break down what the plan is, who came up with it, and how they're connected to Donald Trump. Project 2025 is actually called Mandate for Leadership, the Conservative Promise, and essentially think of it like a Republican playbook to reshape America in the vision of a very conservative government. It's a very detailed 922-page document that was written by members of the former Trump administration because they learned on the job how to reshape this system from the inside out. The first and most frightening aspect of this whole thing to me is the expansion of presidential power under this. Now, it's not meant to make the president into a dictator, but it certainly enhances the president's power. So right now, the president is balanced out by Congress and the Supreme Court, and he can only appoint certain jobs and other jobs he can't appoint. There's a whole bunch of things that keep the president from having too much power. This would seek to undermine that structure and try to not only give the president additional power, but then have the president clear out a bunch of bureaucracy under him and replace the people that he clears out with essentially loyalists. I'd say the three groups that need to be the most concerned about this are the LGBTQ community, people of color, and women. I'm going to go through a bunch of different things from in here and give the page number so you can see exactly why those groups are being targeted by Project 2025. So they're going to reverse gender identity protections and only give protections to people who identify as biologically male or female. They plan to ban gender-affirming care across the board. They're going to ban the use of pronouns in school when it doesn't align with their biological birth gender. And they want to ban health initiatives for people in the LGBTQ community that are focused on things like HIV and STI preventions. For people of color, they want to roll back and reinterpret civil rights law, so it could definitely lead to increased discrimination based on your skin color. They want to eliminate all diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, especially in the federal government. They want to weaken the protections in housing for people of color, so you can now see some racial disparity in housing. And through their elimination of the Department of Education, they would then have a system where any equity programs are eliminated, therefore increasing racial discrimination in education. When it comes to women, the first thing is a 50-state across-the-board abortion ban. They also want to ban or majorly restrict contraception and emergency contraception. They want to defund and or severely restrict the funding for Planned Parenthood and other organizations that provide abortions and healthcare access for women that have to deal with reproduction. They want to eliminate IVF treatments, and they also want to weaken protections for women in the workplace being discriminated against for their gender. Now, outside of those protections being taken away from those groups, here are some other top-line things they want to do. Again, just rattled off one by one with the page number. They want to majorly cut down on regulations, which includes some of the regulations that would have otherwise prevented what happened in 2008's financial market. They want to essentially abandon helping countries like Ukraine and focus strictly on what makes America strong at home and completely ignore the fact that we live in a globalist society. They also want to eliminate the Department of Education, which is also something Trump wants to do, so there's some overlap there. They want to completely abandon funding any kind of green energy and put all of that money back into oil and fossil fuels. They want to remove Obamacare, and they don't have an actual method to replace it. They just want it to not be run by the government. Like Trump, they favor a military-style deportation effort, trying to get 15 million undocumented people out of the country by force. They want to appoint as many conservative judges as humanly possible, so the courts side in favor of their new regime. They want to dramatically cut programs like welfare and any kind of social programs like food stamps. They want to increase the age where you qualify for Social Security. And they want to reinstate what they call traditional values, so church, faith, family, biological male and female partners, straight partners, you get it. So who wrote this shit? This is the main contributor, the Heritage Foundation. If you've never heard of them before, they're a part of your everyday life and you just don't know it. Because when you look at the Supreme Court and the three justices that Trump put in place, they were handpicked by these folks. Then there's this guy, Paul Dans, who, shocker, worked for Donald Trump in his administration, and he is the director of Project 2025. Then there's this guy, Russ Vought, who, as you can see, was caught on hidden camera talking to fake donors about how Trump is on board with Project 2025. Russ Vought worked also in the Trump administration and is a major player in Project 2025. There's about 20 to 30 high-value people in Project 2025 who directly have worked with Donald Trump. So this is something where it's very difficult for Trump to argue that he doesn't know anything about this project, he doesn't know the people involved with it, because it's bullshit. The majority of the people that have written this worked in his administration. So what can we take away from all this? I think first and foremost, any sane person will look at this and go, that's probably a really bad idea and the majority of Americans wouldn't want it. That's probably true. But the other element of it is how much does Trump really know about Project 2025? He's done his best to distance himself from it, and like I said in the beginning, there is no official endorsement of any of this stuff. There is policy overlap between Agenda 47 and Project 2025, and there's an insane amount of people who have worked for Donald Trump and now are authors and real big pushers of Project 2025. That's true as well. But without Trump officially saying, I want to do all this stuff, it's impossible to truly say, yes, this is going to be the agenda when Trump wins. However, given Trump's major reliance in the past for big decisions on places like the Heritage Foundation and his direct working relationship with the architects of it, it's very hard to say with a straight face that Trump is unaware of this plan and doesn't understand the details of it, because obviously he does.